Hi, this is Allie Puentes, part of the Puentes Group here in Salem, Oregon, brokered by EXPRealty. And I thought it would be fun to kind of share one of the agents in our group's story. And I wanted to take some time and kind of talk to you a little bit about what he's done in his first year in real estate. And hopefully you will be inspired and impressed with his story. Here we go. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you, Allie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about what your last, I guess a little bit longer than a year has looked like in real estate. So I know you're super busy, so thank you for taking some time. Can you tell us a little about yourself or why you got into real estate?
Yeah, of course. So again, thanks for having me on here. It's a crazy year, as everybody knows. And so I started January of 2020, so it hasn't been that long for me. But for me, it'd been something that I'd thought about and done a lot of research on, just kind of wanted to get into it, didn't know how to start. Always did a bunch of research on the real estate investment side of things, which got me excited. I don't know if anybody's heard of Bigger Pockets, definitely check them out. That's where I kind of got motivated to start and try it out, get my foot in the door. And so when Nico was about to be born, I was working at my current job and I got a 3-month paid time off, paternity leave. And so I took advantage of that time. I took my course, just read through it nights and mornings, got my exam, passed it, and then started looking for an agency, right? Started looking for a brokerage where I could put my license and hang my license up. And that's kind of where I didn't know where to start, right? I was like, man, okay, so I got the license. Now where do I go? And there's a bunch of different options, right? From splits to what they provide, to working on a team, to going solo. And so it's just kind of anything and everything you could imagine, it's out there. So I started interviewing a couple different companies. I started doing research myself. This was before I even got licensed. I had done some research. EXP to me stood out just because of the way that they were kind of changing things, and they offered multiple sources of revenue as an agent. And getting into it, the last thing I wanted to do was limit myself to just one option, right? I wanted to be able to, if I'm gonna start something, have multiple options so that I'm not stuck giving up or feeling like it was a bad experience. So I wanted to go into something that had a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, was growing and was supporting their agents. So the culture at EXP is basically that it's agent-centric, agent-focused. So yeah, that's why I got excited about it. And then I started doing research to see who was doing really well here in the Salem market, because I knew I was gonna be here local and I wanted to make a brand for myself in the market. So I started figuring out, okay, there's this thing called Icon Agent. There's some Icon agents out there. Where can I find one? Because I want to be with the person that's performing and killing it already here in Salem. So the Puentes Group, here shows up Allie, and you were the first one I saw. You had a last name that was in Spanish or Hispanic last name. And so that resonated with me because I knew I spoke Spanish and that was going to be part of my business going into it. So yeah, I reached out, we interviewed, it made sense. There was a lot of things in common aside from just the business model, but I think more so I think it's just when you are trying to build your business and when you're trying to start something like this, like real estate, and you've never done anything like it, you really want to, I think for me personally, it was like finding somebody that I knew could support me, that had the same morals and kind of the same feelings about how to do business. And so we connected in that way, and it was just kind of the cherry on top for what the business model had already offered. So that's how I got started. And I knew that going into it, I was going to really, really want to kind of find my own way of getting into the real estate investment side of things. But this was just a foot in the door. And EXP gave me kind of that freedom because it wasn't a brokerage that I had to be super aligned with every single thing that just this office was doing, but I could kind of represent my own self in my own ways. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's how I got started. Super excited to have done it, and just wish I would have done it sooner, I guess.
Yeah. So you've had a pretty awesome year, and most of it has been in the middle of a pandemic. So do
Yeah.
you feel like, have you hit your goals? Do you feel like you are on pace? How do you feel?
So the first year, 2020 January, I come into the office. The setup that we have is that there's office leads. You handed me an office lead, Spanish speaking, right away. And I think it was maybe, beginner's luck, something happened, but it kind of got me on the right page. It was not an easy transaction, almost fell through. At closing, the day of closing, they called in to confirm that the person was still working where they said they were working, and they had gotten fired. So immediately we had to reshuffle things, and it's like, welcome to real estate. Here you go.
Here you go, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was exciting, but it was motivating at the same time because I was able to make it happen, right? And I had the support, and even though I didn't know anything, to where I am now, I think it was really, really cool seeing that we were able to figure it out. And when you persevere, not only is there the reward that, you're getting paid, but also you see these people that when they thought everything was going to go south, you're able to figure something out, be creative, and give them the right resources to make it happen still. So that was super exciting. Am I hitting my goals? The first year I hit 14 transactions. I wish I would have done more, but at the same time, I think that's that was my capacity for that year. I think if I would have pushed myself a little bit more, it would have been way more rocky. So I think it was a good intro year to kind of getting a grip of like how to manage everything, and how to be able to really communicate with people and how to build relationships and help clients out. This year, I started a little bit slower. I think December was kind of crazy, but then January, I just kind of started picking it up. I started doing the things that I knew other agents were going to be doing, and then I think really what clicked is the fact that you have to be kind of like super cool and collected when you're doing this thing. And you have to focus on building relationships first. Like that is the biggest thing. Like I'd rather like really listen to what's going on in someone's life and talk about that over talking about real estate. That's kind of a secondary thing. And then when they're ready, they're going to be so ready that like, that's all they'll want to talk about, right? It's not going to be you asking them. It's going to be them asking you to, help them navigate through this whole thing that they got going on. And so once I think that clicked, that's kind of the way that I prospect now, and the way that I follow up with people is I really just check in as if I was checking in with a friend or family member, to see how their day is going, root them on, try to be super positive and, give them motivation, because it's not an easy thing. I think homeownership sometimes can be, like a daunting goal, and it can be overwhelming. And so when you have somebody that's there as a friend more than an agent, kind of motivating you to, tell you that you can do it and we can accomplish it, we can make it happen, even in the craziest market like it is right now, it sets you apart. And then not forcing myself to have every single agent or every single client. Like not every single client is gonna mesh with me, and that's okay, right? That's okay. I have to be true to myself and understand that not everybody's gonna, love working with me. So just focusing on the people that I resonate with and do that. And so this last month has been crazy. I think the busiest month I've ever had. I have 8 in escrow right now that are closing in June. And one of those is going to be an investment property that me and a partner are purchasing together to flip. And so, not even a year and a half into it, and I'm doing what I've wanted to do, which was the investment side. We're going to try that out. I'm scared. I'm excited. It's all like new. It's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, here's my opportunity, right? And so I think that's what happens is when you take those small steps that are going to push you to, look for those opportunities. It's just going to come up, right? As long as you're prepared and you're pushing yourself, I think anything is possible. And once you're in real estate, if you're putting the effort in, it's crazy.
It comes back to you, what you put out, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about real estate is each day doesn't look the same, and you can, you know, adjust or focus in different areas. Would you say that you have a specialty in terms of the transactions that you've done?
No, I think just because of my nature of like what I'm trying to achieve as an agent is more on the investment side of things. I think I try to push myself to kind of understand those realms. And so I get more excited when I get those type of clients, right? Or like even helping my brothers or my family or my friends, just talking about how to navigate, you know, a transaction, or if it's a first-time home buyer, but it's a single person and they're trying to use it as an investment or like a stepping stone to be able to create wealth. I think that's what gets me excited because I'm on the same page, right? How do we use real estate and how do we leverage financing to be able to get ahead and create wealth long-term? That's my interest personally. And so if I can speak to that with other people and get other people excited about it, not only is it cool because we're helping them getting into something right away, but we're also preparing them and educating them on how to grow and scale and have a really, really prosperous future, which I think is super cool because when you help the people around you, it's inevitable you're going to grow with them. So,
right. So what would you say that you attribute to your success?
That's a good question. I think so, man, it's, you know, obviously you do have to have a sense of personality that like, it just has to be in you, that drive, right? I think that's for sure. It's always been in me. I've always been competitive. But I think it's also something that you can learn and you can teach yourself how to be that, right? It's that like the habit thing, right? Like you learn and you teach yourself habits and you have to continue to do the things that maybe you don't like to do until you kind of just build those things into your life, right? And then it becomes natural. But one of the things that I've been really, really reflecting on for the past year, this year, more so than anything, is just when you kind of put everything aside and you look at the simplicity of what life is, it is relationships, it's conversations, it's communicating with the people around you that you care about the most, right? And so in its simplest form, life really is how good you can have those communications with those people in those moments, right? So the better you are in those moments where you get to spend with your mom, with your family, with your friends, with your clients, the better you are in those moments is really all life should be about, right? It's those interactions, those conversations. And so focusing on just even that and how can I be the best me so that when I'm in front of those people, you know, I'm providing and I'm, you know, bringing value, then everything else just kind of falls into place, right? Everything else is figure outable. I think I heard that one time, so.
Yeah. So obviously burnout is a real thing. How do you feel? Do you have any hobbies or what do you do to recharge?
Recharge, yeah. I'm a freak, so it's, you know, I think recharge is probably celebrating my wins, right? Because all the work that you put in, like, it's a lot of work and sometimes the rewards or the results don't come right away. And so you really do have to, like, I know this, you know, cliche, but you really do have to like focus on the process and enjoy the process, and just see yourself getting better every single day and how much like your effort is showing up in not your results, but how you feel comfortable and confident in what you're doing every single day. And so I think taking a second to reflect recharges my battery. My little dude, he's 20 months old. He's like the sweetest thing, and just coming home to him and seeing him and giving him a hug is everything. Family means a lot. But hobbies, I mean, like I said, I think I'm a little bit of a freak because I like live, breathe, and eat real estate. And I think like I get excited about looking for properties that are off market and getting a good deal, right? Because of the investment side of things. And then helping people, I think coaching is also a good recharge because I get to take a step back and just kind of help people walk through what I've been through, and seeing them get excited is kind of, it just fills my cup. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So what is the best piece of advice you've ever received regarding real estate?
Okay, that's best piece of advice regarding real estate. I think it goes back to kind of what I was saying, is that, you know, not to focus too much on results. I think people are really result focused and can get frustrated right away. And because this is a business, you have to just kind of focus on like, I don't know, I think about it as like you're building a house, or you're building whatever you want to, say, but you're building something. And so the results are going to come eventually, but it takes time. And there's so many more details that like you don't think about when you start, but throughout the process, you're going to discover. And then as long as you keep your head down, like the results are just going to show up, and it's going to blow you away when they do. And so, yeah, I think that's the best advice, is just staying positive, patient, and focusing focus in so that you can be your best self. That's the only thing you have the control over. You can't control if somebody decides they don't want to buy a house or they do want to buy a house, but you can control every single day, waking up 7 a.m., doing what you need to do and showing up for yourself. That you can control. And so it is like owning your own business in real estate is one of those where it's just against you, right? Like you are looking at yourself in the mirror every day and asking yourself, did I show up? Did I not show up? And one thing, I think Ricky Carruth's mentality is pretty cool. He's a real estate guy. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he says that like, I think resonates with me is, if you aren't waking up and going out there and getting it like every single day, that's selfish on your part, especially if you have a family, because like that's your role. You're supposed to go out there, you're supposed to go get it, put your full effort in, be your best self. And so that resonates with me. And the days that I don't show up, I feel it and I feel bad, and I don't like feeling bad. I don't like feeling down. So yeah, I'd rather go with the alternative.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, obviously you've had a pretty awesome year, like I said, in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't see you slowing down. So I think that's awesome. And I know you're doing a lot with not just work, but family, and you have a lot going. So I think that's awesome. Thanks for taking some time to share what's going on. And is there anything else you want everyone to know?
No, I mean, I guess don't wait. If you've ever had the, just like the slightest inclination of like wanting to learn more about real estate or purchasing or anything that has to do with real estate, it can be overwhelming. I took way too long to jump in and get in. And it's kind of like, I did so much research about real estate and purchasing and all these different things and how to invest. And I never made that commitment, and I think that's my biggest regret, is just not making that commitment. And it takes a long time, but as soon as you get in front of the right people, or you just take that one small step to start learning, you find accountability in these people, and then it pushes you to do things that maybe they feel uncomfortable at the moment, but you realize goals that you've always wanted to do. And I've always wanted to be more of a, at least I tried person, over I wish I would have done it.
Sure.
So I encourage everybody to go out there, try it out. It's okay to lose, it's okay to fail, but don't give up.
For sure. Okay, well, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you for joining, and talk to you later.
All right, thank you so much, Allie. Talk soon.
Bye.